Okay guys, now for the video many of you have been waiting for. If you've seen my last video regarding Sector, that video was specifically only for MK9. This video is going to be the most broken teleport in NRS history. So keep in mind this is not only specifically for Injustice 1. If you've missed my last video on Sector, I'll leave a link below in the comments so you guys can check it out. And I also want to apologize because I did want to get this video out a week earlier, but I just have not had the time lately to focus on these videos. But anyway, getting into it. Martian Manhunter in this game, we're only going to specifically talk about his teleport. So Martian had a teleport in this game, which was down back 3, where you would phase through the ground and then he would come from underground and hit your opponent, and after this you would get a combo. Now if you did the same input down back 3 but held down after, you would come downwards from the sky and the teleport would become an overhead. And a nifty thing was this would be a separate launcher compared to his regular launcher. This one. So if you do the downward, you could do another launcher and they would count as separate launchers. So he could basically get a lot more damage off this slower overhead teleport compared to his faster teleport coming from the ground. Now, this teleport was insanely hard to punish. Not only was it an overhead launching teleport, but the pushback on the move was absolutely ridiculous, because look at this. You can see Doomsday blocks it. It pushes Martian over a character space away, and it leaves him at -8. 99% of the characters could not punish this move. Only Flash's upward reversal quick dash attack could punish it, which was 6 frames and it didn't lead to a combo, so only that could punish it. And only Superman could punish it if you blocked it at a specific height when it came in contact with you, and then Superman could 4-2-3 it. But other than that, 99% of the time, this move was not going to get punished. It was very hard to punish. And if you were in the boat of basically every character not being able to punish it on block, you had to make a read and preemptively meter burn back 3 it, hoping Martian would do it. But this is obviously way easier said than done, because in the heat of the moment, him randomly deciding to do this anywhere, and on top of his zoning tools, it was not easy to do. So, Martian's teleport. The move was completely safe. On hit, you got a juicy combo. If my memory serves correctly, I believe you got 40% off this. Let's see. So that's 1 bar. You got 39%, basically 40. So if this move hit you, it led to devastating damage. 40% is not something that you can just brush off. This is actually very good damage. And because Martian was a very good keep away, anti-zoning, good offense, he had so many tools. He was basically a jack of all trades character. You could not afford to get hit by this teleport and then give him the life lead, because if he had the life lead, it became even more unbearable than it already was to fight him. So we're gonna go into some other things that Martian could do with this teleport, aside from it being a very obnoxious overhead teleport that led to a big juicy damage and it was safe. The best thing to compare this teleport to is, if any of you played MKX, there was a character called Melina. She had a teleport where she would sink into the ground, her telekick, and she would appear from the sky and hit you. This is basically Melina's telekick, except it's an overhead now and it launches. So think of Melina's telekick from MKX, but now it's an overhead that you have to block standing and it launches you for a full combo. Just to put it into perspective on how insane this teleport is. And it was safe, basically, unlike Melina's telekick, which you had a chance to punish. So yeah, this move was just... It's actually crazy looking back to see how this move even got past the beta testing. So now, some cool tricks Martian could do utilizing his teleport in this game is, he had a low string back 1-3. This was plus on block. This was a plus on block low string, and he had a low scoop, which if you meter burned, it led to a combo, which I showed you before. And a common low starter was he could do this into EX. If you wanted big damage, he could do a combo like that. And this was 40%, so you were losing a big chunk for getting hit by his low. But this was risky. Now if your opponent blocked this, another way for him to do a combo is he could do this. He could do back 1 into that, and that would combo. And this EX version was plus 30 on block. So if you didn't mind sacrificing a bit of damage, you could go for his plus launching low attack. And off of this you would get, should be able to back 3 off that. I would normally just do this. That's better in the corner, but you could just do an instant air teleport, do that, you get like over 20%, but ideally you could get over 30% of that. It's pretty hard to do the back 3 after that, but that does work. It actually works probably easier if you do this. You have trade out and hit them. Yeah, it's way easier to do it that way. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, Martian's trait in this game just extends all of his limbs. All of his limbs, everything gets more range. So if you had trade up, that combo became 10 times easier to do. So you had basically a low threat here that you could choose to gamble with and go for the big damage if you wanted to be risky, or you could keep it plus and go for more offense. Now, to tie this into his teleport, what you could do, and I'm going to put Doomsday on crouch here, because he's going to be blocking the low, right? He's crouch blocking. What Martian can do is, in this game, which got completely removed for MKX and Injustice 2, and basically every game going forward from this game, is instant air jump attacks were overheads. So if you did an instant air jump attack, and Martian happened to have a instant air jump attack that was 5 frames and hit very early, so he could use this to hit people literally crouching, you could use this as an instant overhead. And this is no longer possible in NRS games. Now moves are only overhead if you come down with them. They're not overhead on the way up, they're mids. So this got completely fixed for the games going forward. But in this game, if you utilize this instant air overhead, normally you wouldn't get a combo, right? It'd just be like a quick overhead. But you cancel into teleport, you get this. So Martian could basically combo off his teleport, off his instant overhead, and you can get like a huge, big, juicy combo. So him utilizing the teleport in this manner gave him access to a 50-50 combo starter. And yes, this was unsafe, but if you were on point, one thing that the very good Martian players did in this game is they were actually able to confirm this. If this hit your opponent, as they were going up, they would go like, okay, it hit, I'm going to do down back 3 teleport. And then you would get the combo. But if you held down, you would get this. Let me just put him on always block. You would get that, and that's basically safe. So now you have this OS instant overhead mix-up option that on the way down, when you do a teleport, you can choose to come down with an overhead, and that basically makes you safe. So that was a very good hit confirm OS, sort of. That made his 50-50 devastating now, because now this character turned into basically a character that can 50-50 mix up. You block this plus 30 orb, now you have to guess a 50-50. And in the corner it was deadly because you got even more damage. But to add even more insult to injury here regarding the teleport, aside from that thing, you got two other things that were absolutely bonkers. So check this out. Off this string, if you ended a combo in that, sometimes people wouldn't tech roll. If you didn't tech roll that, you see how Doomsday rises after that? If you do this and time it, because Martian is coming downwards in a straight line and it's in the overhead, and this game happens to be back to block, you probably know what's going to happen here. This was basically a random cross up. I don't know if this is going to cross up. I don't know if it's not going to cross up. All I know is that it doesn't matter for me. It matters for my opponent that's on the receiving end of this. They're going to have to block. That is either going to be a cross up or not. You time it with your opponent getting off the ground. And it's basically a safe 50-50 launcher that leads to 40% damage. And then you can go for a setup after with the orb, and then go for more shenanigans with the overhead teleport. So the teleport, not only was it a safe overhead launching anti-zoning tool that led to damage, but now you could use it as a mix-up option as your opponent gets off the ground off certain knockdowns or strings, which made the move even more obnoxious, and it was safe on pretty much everybody. And another cool setup with this is I used to like doing this whenever I played Martian. If I had a bar meter, which was like candy to Martian because nature of him being a zoning character, being able to put up so much shit on the screen, you had meter for days with him. So if you happen to have meter with him, one combo you could do is just any combo launcher and do something like this. Now I like doing this because when you did this move, you would hold up forward like that, and then if you timed it right, you would come down into a teleport. So let me demonstrate this better. So you would do this, hold up forward, and then you would time the teleport so that you would come down like that. And depending on which angle you did it at, this would either cross up or not. So that was a very scary mix-up. You could end the combo, do that. I don't even know if that's going to cross up or not. My opponent doesn't even know. The commentators don't know. Literally, nobody knows where this teleport is going to hit. You're just basically guessing. And if they get hit, well, you just won a 40% combo. And you could basically loop this too. You basically, if you had meter, just keep doing this over and over. And mixing your opponent up. And because the nature of this randomly being left or right, it would also reverse your opponent's controls as their wake up. So if they had a wake up that was back 4-3, if they happen to be coming down on the left with your teleport, now they have to do forward back 3. It was just the move. This teleport was so obnoxious. This is the reason, if you look at NRS games nowadays, this is why there aren't any more safe launching teleports. Those just, they just don't exist anymore because they were so abusable in games like this. And yeah, this is just not even like 10% of what Martian could do in this game. Martian had so many tools. I just want to leave this video at his teleport only, and I want to thank you so much for watching.